What is going on, everybody? Vex30 here, coming with a new video, and today we are releasing our full ranked tier list. But as always with every tier list, feel free to leave your comments down below with your opinions, thoughts, and have a discussion about the characters in this tier list. Let's not get hostile about it, but let's keep it civil and let's have fun with it. Sorry it took so long, but I really wanted to make sure I produced something high quality. Another important announcement is some of you may have known I kept talking about working on a side project and it would be announced soon. Well, it's finally here. This video is sponsored by Drogoz, a website that is owned and created by myself and iDropBodies, and it's officially soft launched. The website will have a full release in Q3, Q4 of this year, but for now, we are starting with just an email list. With that being said, I am running a giveaway down below in the description for Paladins event passes, so go check that out. Also, check out the Drogoz website and the social medias that come with it. I am going to throw it over to a promo video, and then we're going to jump right into the tier list, so enjoy. Hello everyone, my name is Bryce Kelly, and some of you know me as Vex30, and I am the CEO and co-founder of Drogoz. Most of you are asking, what is Drogoz? Let me explain. The modern market is flooded with PC peripherals. As consumers, we have no way to quickly sift through these products and find the right one at the best price. This is where Drogoz comes in. Drogoz solves this by aggregating all the products into one place, by taking individual products and finding their best price across different online retailers. We at Drogoz pride ourselves on our ease of use. We are here for the most hardcore gamer and the casual gamer looking to just save time and money. No matter who you are, Drogoz will be for you. Just type in your product name, the brand, or scroll through our limitless options. The website will do all the work. So what are you waiting for? Head to drogoz.com right now and sign up for updates. Also, be sure to follow us on our social medias. Look for the tag Drogoz for gamers on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We will be posting updates as we get them to our social medias and different information about the website as it is closer to releasing. We are Drogoz, built by gamers, for gamers. I hope you were all excited for those announcements as I was. I've been holding on to that forever. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'm excited for what's to come. But let's jump into this tier list, and this is gonna be a doozy. So let's just run into it head first and just see what we end up with in this tier list. Again, like I said, there is a possibility that I change things around as I go. So let's just jump into it. So skip to the end if you just want to see the ending. But I'll give good explanations here. Androxus. I think Androxus is fairly strong right now. I don't think he brings anything overpowered. But for flanks in general, they're not very strong, but Androxus does well. We're gonna go ahead and put him at B. I don't think he's mid-tier. I think he's actually one of the better flanks, so he's up there at B. Ashe. I feel the same way about Ashe. If you're not picking the big two tanks, which we'll talk about in a bit, you're picking Ashe. And if Ashe is gone, you're kind of screwed unless the enemies don't have counter picks. So Ashe feels really good. We're also gonna put her at B because she feels strong. Nothing too overpowered, nothing too underpowered. Atlas, one of the big two tanks. He is there's something I really haven't put my finger on it yet, but there's something about Atlas. I think it's the big wall. I think it's that dividing the whole map and your team having free shots where the other team can do nothing. What really makes him that good, and his survivability, his damage, everything together makes him one of the big two at S. He just feels overall super strong, and I think he needs to be banned every game, and he is being banned every single game in ranked right now. So S, I don't see a reason to put him lower. Barrick, he is one of the stronger point tanks right now. Point tanks are overall okay. They're nothing too crazy. No point tank is better than the other, honestly. So like a Nara, Fernando, Barrick. Terminus might be an outlier, but Barrick, we're gonna go ahead and put him at C. I think his point potential is super good, especially against champions like Willow, who are starting to find her way into the meta because of support comps, because of double support. So Barrick is going to go ahead at C. He's a solid point tank, doesn't bring anything extra. Bomb King, I've been debating where to put this guy for a little while now. I think he feels strong, but he's not played that much. I don't think he's underpowered, overpowered. I think he's map dependent, comp dependent. So we're going to go ahead and put him at C. But we could adjust him later on depending on where we put other damage. Kind of just how we're feeling. Buck. Buck is a weird one because I think he should be OP right now because bulk up feels great. And with a low caught percentage, bulk up should be performing well, but I don't see really any bucks being played. So I'm going to go, this is a little spicy, but I'm going to say C. I'm not seeing buck played a lot. So I was thinking about putting him at D, but since I feel like he has the potential, but it's not realized yet, we're going to keep him at C. Cassie, a solid damage dealer right now. It really is one of the big, you know, 3 roughly, I want to say, damage dealers you're picking mainly when it comes to damage rather than flanks, right? And I think she does really well, especially with the exaction buffs where she can buy Chronos, I believe, 2 and have full dodge roll capabilities. Exaction has found its way to a lot of Cassie's arsenal. So we're going to go ahead and put her at B. She feels like a super solid damage and really can output. And if you're looking for a good mid to long range damage, you're picking Cassie. Corvus, I think Corvus is kind of crap. I know some regions are really picking Corvus. I think it's specifically Brazil, as my comments have said. They're picking Corvus a lot and they really enjoy Corvus. But in NA and EU, Corvus has not played at all. So going on what I know, I don't think Corvus feels good. I think he's a heal bot that lacks healing. So we're going to go ahead and put him at D. I think overall, he just does not live up to his capabilities. He is a heal bot that doesn't heal that much. It's as simple as that. Dredge. Dredge. I think he feels okay right now. And on certain maps like Ice Mines, he can really excel. But honestly, he's overall weak, and honestly will be always overall weak. We're going to go ahead and put him at D. He's very map dependent. When you have a champion like this who shoots grenade launchers, doesn't have super long range, unless you're running the harpoon talent, of course, which is hi-rez the same, but does not apply cauterize. Remember that. His harpoon, when running that, does not apply on hit effects like life rip, cauterize. So say one day they buffed harpoon to apply on hit effects, then I think Dredge could possibly be B, maybe A tier right now. But since it doesn't, he's D, and he's very map dependent. Drogoz. I don't know what it is about Drogoz. I was talking to iDrop Buddies because he's been playing recently on my streams. Go check it out, Vex30, Twitch. Me and him have been doing, but he feels super slow. There's something about Drogoz that feels awful right now, and he doesn't feel strong. He feels like a slow, something that's in the air that he just doesn't move. He doesn't go anywhere. He feels terrible to play. This might be a little spicy, but I think Drogoz is E tier. There's a possibility I could put him up at D, but I feel like Dredge is stronger than him on maps like Ice Mines. I feel like he does more. I feel like Drogoz could just gets destroyed. I don't know. I really just don't believe in Drogoz, and maybe I put him D because, you know, maps like Stone Keep with Worm Jets, he can really excel into certain comps, which if they don't have long range hit scan. So we're going to go ahead and push him up to D for now with the possibility between D and E, honestly. It's really hard to choose. Evie, this is the issue, right? Flanks overall in this meta are not performing extremely well, most flanks, because of the sustain meta. Flanks don't do well into sustain. They don't do well into double support. Single support, sure. Double support, no, because their whole job for most flanks, what you want to do, the general objective is to poke and then find your opening. But against double sustain, their team is always being healed. And even if you want to full dive and just go in, you can't because there's 2 supports. So Evie and with a lot of supports, I don't think they're strong because of double support. So we're putting Evie at D. I think she's a good champion, but currently in this meta, I don't think she's very good. Nando, another point tank. Again, one of the 3 strong, or 4. One of the 3 I'm going to put here. Strong, feels good, can be played on point, can be played as an off tank, but mainly point right now. We're going to go ahead and put him C. Doesn't bring anything extra to the table, but doesn't really lack in anything. So pretty balanced, honestly. Furia pre-nerf to exterminate, probably A or S tier. Furia post-nerf, I think the nerf to exterminate was exactly what she needed to put her in line. I still think she is strong in double support comps, but I do think somebody like Genos is stronger. with Binary Star. So we're going to go ahead Furia at C. I don't think she's underpowered. I think she's still really good. I think as a support overall, though, she's kind of garbage, which makes me want to put her at D. But I've played with Cherish a few times, and I've gotten an understanding that it is playable. But it really requires, 1, the right team comp, and 2, high skill to time caught, and 3, high skilled teammates to drop caught so you can heal them, or else Cherish gets no value. Solar Blessing, on the other hand, bleh. Grok. Okay, so let's talk about this real fast, just real quick. Grok, pre the last hotfix, maybe S, but recently they accidentally nerfed Grok during the hotfix and reduced his totem healing. Go check it out in your shooting range. The totem healing is not applying the extra totem healing. So I think he's between S and A. I think he's one of those champions that you always ban because I thought Grok was overrated. I still think he is a little bit overrated and people don't know how to play against him. But because people don't know how to play against him, that makes him OP. As soon as people learn how to play against Grok again, he will be less OP. So for now, we're going to put him A. Actually, we're going to go ahead and put him in S because I believe the nerf is going to get reverted. They accidentally nerfed him. I think it's going to get reverted. If it doesn't, you know, sorry, I lied to you. But I think he's S. With the nerf, A, but without it, S. Needs to be banned in most games. Is just super strong. Grover. Grover is one of the strongest supports in the game right now. I kind of undervalued him overall. I think he is by far one of the best supports in the game. And easily. Deep Roots with the nerf didn't matter. His utility, damage, ultimate, everything healing is amazing. We're going to put him in an A tier. I think outside of Grok, he is the best support in the game. Amani's really found her way into the meta. Mana Rift is being played a lot. Been watching Baidu streams, watching Baidu play it. It's strong. Splitting Ice is still strong. Amani in general is just strong. She is a solid damage choice. You're not really throwing picking her and you're not really carrying picking her. We're going to go ahead and put her at C. And Nara, the other point tank that is solid, brings nothing extra, brings nothing less, is a completely balanced champion, in my opinion. We're going to put her at C as well. Nothing much to talk about her there. Io. I loved Io. When I first made my champion chat back with you guys remember that series, I called Io one of the most skillful champions in the game, and I still think so. Io is a very difficult champion to play because of her positioning, the way her dog plays, the way her autos are with their healing. Ever since they made the change where you can heal people around walls, if you healed them, you know, first, and you can heal them 1 second through walls if you've healed them outside of walls, yada, yada, yada. You know how it's played. I thought she's one of the most skillful champions in the game, but she has fallen from her grace ever since they made her dog not cap point. So she's at D. I don't think she's a good support right now. I think she's weak, and she needs some serious buffs to get her back in line. Genos, Binary Star. Again, I think it's better than Furia Exterminate with a tank or support like Grover, but I don't think he's strong enough to warrant a B tier. So right now we're going to put him at C, but tentatively B. I'm going to have to think about this one as we go on, because this one I'm really undecided on. He's right C to B, right in that area. Khan, one of the big two. Khan is very, very strong right now, and there's no other way around it. Khan's ulti is his biggest upside. If Khans are hitting their ulti, it's over. The game is over, and if the Khans are smart and you don't play around it well, it's just over. Khan just wins games. Khan is a almost must ban in most ranked games with Atlas, so we're going to put him S with Grok and Atlas. These characters are getting banned almost every single game. The stats don't lie, and they don't lie. They're amazing champions right now, all three of them. Canessa, another solid pick, can be played on a lot of maps. I think actually on a map like Bazaar and Timbermill, she is a must ban. So interesting thing about Canessa is she is map dependent, just like snipers. On Bazaar, she is probably the strongest damage dealer on Bazaar, and I found that I have to start banning her or else she takes over the game. Something like a Grover can start to help counter her, but it's usually not enough, and it's kind of hard to get to backline damage on Bazaar. Same with Timber, but besides the point, C, she's a good character. Has to be banned on some maps though. Koga. I haven't seen a single good Koga. I've barely seen any Kogas. Koga still feels weak to me. I don't see a reason to play him. I don't see a purpose of playing him. He's going in D tier. Feels terrible. Lex. I love Lex. Me, personally, I think Lex is strong. But overall, I don't think he's very strong in this meta. But, I mean, he does decent poke damage. He's like a mid-range character. I think he's like a mid-range poke character, like a Cassie, like a less of a Cassie, but I don't think he excels in this meta. D tier. Sorry, Lex. Leanne, strong damage dealer. I think stronger than Cassie in in some cases, like Timbermill, but Cassie, I think, overperforms her. Though, I think they're about balanced. I think they're both strong damage dealers, and they both have their situations. So we're going to put Leanne at B tier. I was thinking about putting her at C tier, and when I made it, if you ever see me looking this way, I do have my, I made a tier list before this, you know, this is my theory crafting tier list before, this is my like actual final decision tier list you're looking at right now on screen. If you see me looking this way, it's because I have it there, and Leanne is at C right now. But the more I think about it, I think she's worthy of B because she's nothing... She's not really that much worse than Cassie. And if I'm going to put Cassie B, I got to put Leanne B. Maeve falls into the issue of flanks not doing well. It's as simple as that. So, but Maeve also has high poke potential. I don't know. Maeve is weird. I don't think she's very good, but I have seen a lot of Maeve being played and being played decently. So... we're going to go ahead and put her at C tier, possibly D tier moving forward here towards the end of the list on my last review of it. Makoa. Strong tank, solid, being played more and more. After the shell spin, apparently does 500. I didn't know this. So this happened when I was gone. Shell spin now does 500 damage. I was flaming people. Or were hooking and shell spinning me, and I'm like, bro, you're just getting out of position doing this and you can't get out. I get why people are pluck spinning with the talent pluck, of course, but like I still think it's not enough to warrant him going to B. So we're gonna go ahead and put him at C. Zamba, I think he's one of the better supports in the game, and he, outside of Grover, I think he is the next go-to, and Grok, of course, but he's usually banned. I think Zamba is probably the go-to if you are skilled enough with Zamba. Zamba does have a higher skill cap, and if you are proficient with Zamba, he is worth picking over the other support that we're going to put next to him, which you'll see. Zamba, I think he deserves B tier. Strong champion. He is the go-to when Grok is banned, when even Grover's being banned now. So, Moji. There's really not much to say. She's garbage. Okay. She's garbage tier, trash champion. Certain maps can be played and can be played, I guess, decently, but I think she's garbage. Pip is balanced. I actually want to spend a couple streams only playing Pip because I do think there's some potential in Combat Medic that's being unrealized. Some unrealized potential with Combat Medic. So, with that being said, since I see potential, I'm going to put him at C. God, I'm hilarious. Since I see potential in it, I'm going to put him at C instead of D. So, yeah. You know, it's there. It could be there. Who knows? Megapot is also viable on maps like Ice Mines. So, he's deserving. Rom. I think Rom is somewhat strong with Genos and Grover being so in the meta. They are hard counters to Rom because the cripple and the lift. The lift mid-dash just cancels his dash out. So, you know, he kind of gets screwed over. I think he's deserving a C tier because if the enemy doesn't have counters to it, it's strong. But if they do, it's fairly weak. And as you've seen some of my previous videos, there's some ROMs that just keep dashing and that's all they do. And I would put him F tier if people do that, but C tier. Ruckus, man. Ruckus is one of those champions that is S in the right hands, but F in the wrong hands. He's completely bipolar of a champion. If you know how to play Ruckus, you know. If you don't play him. Learn how to play him in casuals before you play him in ranked. We're going to put him at C tier because he is one of those so bipolar champions. He could go either way on this list depending on the player. If you are going to play Ruckus, Play it in casual to learn it before ranked. All right. Okay. Thank you. Saris. This is the other support that's going to go next to Zamba. If you are not proficient with Zamba, you should probably be playing Saris outside of Grok and Grover. Saris is a strong healer right now. She is a heal bot, but she does really, really good healing with Mortal Reach and can bring some damage with Soul Collector on certain maps like Jaguar Falls, Bright Marsh. So strong support. It's your secondary pick to Zamba. Shaolin, solid damage dealer. I don't see a lot of him being played, but I still think he's solid right now. I don't think he brings anything special, but I don't think he's extra weak. So we're going to put him at C tier. Sky. I have seen some suggestions that Sky should possibly be played as a healer and as a second support. Until that is realized, or until I try it out, I can't justify putting her any higher than E, though she does have some potential with her smoke and daggers to possibly be a strong off support in this double support meta. But again, the potential is there, but it's not realized. Strix is very weak. Strix is very weak. He is solid. He can be played, but he is just a worse version of Canessa now with his nerfs. So we're going to put him at D tier. Talus. Talus is one of those flankers that I actually have been played recently and has done well. Honestly, I am not sure why he's doing well, but he is. So I want to put him at D tier, but I also could justify it in my head putting him C. So right now we're going to put him where we thought before at D, and then possibly relook at him because I think he's right between D and C. Probably D tier though, and can be played in the correct hands, but that's it. Terminus, a strong point tank, probably one of the better point tanks right now. The 3-point tanks at C, and then Terminus, and then the 3-point tanks at C. He's gonna go B. Survivability is great. Mobility is pretty, decent. Outside of, I would say Barrick and Nando both have Barrick big time. Nando slightly more mobility than Term, but he does really well on point, and he's probably your go-to 4-point fights. I think he's strong, especially with his ulti. B. Tiberius. Even with the nerfs to his heavy blade, I still think he's probably one of the better damage dealers in the game currently. I think a good Tiberius will destroy a game and absolutely wreck face. So I'm going to put him at A. I think what Tiberius needs is a slight nerf to his Q, and his heavy blade cannot go through shields. There's no way that heavy blade should go through shields, and if that's changed and maybe a slight nerf to his Q, his meditation stance, he should be C, but till then he's A. I think he's very strong, especially in the correct hands. Torvald. The only Torvald I've seen played was the solo tank. Like, nobody plays Torvald. He doesn't feel strong. He feels very weak right now. Putting him at D. I don't think he's E because he has some usability, but he's honestly not very strong right now. Tyra, strong damage dealer with the Molly against champions like we'll discuss later, Yagaroth, Terminus, and her DR is insane from her nades. So we're going to go ahead and put her at B tier. I think she's up there with Cassie and Leanne, but she is a little bit more situational than those two and can be only played on more certain maps than Cassie and Leanne. Cassie and Leanne honestly can be played on any maps, while Tyra can only play usually shorter maps, but still very strong in the maps she can be played. Victor, weak. He gets countered in this meta. He doesn't do enough damage to kill people through support meta, and there's tanks that counter him because you need DPS that counter tanks like Rom and Yag, and Vic's not it. And if the thing is with Vic, he's not a counter to them, and he is countered by them. So I'm going to put him at D tier. I don't think he's strong right now. I think he's weak. I don't think he does anything. Vivian, honestly, a weaker version of Victor. E tier. Awful. Willow. Okay, so a couple days ago, I thought Willow should be C, maybe D. But after a couple of days of playing ranked recently, I have seen Willow, whatever. Okay, Willow fall into the meta because I believe double support, because people remembered Dead Zone. I think she's B tier. I think she's actually a very solid damage dealer, and she's a bit slept on currently. Actually going to do one video on that recently. I'm going to do a top 5 here soon on the most slept on champions and paladins, and I do think Willow's one of them right now. Ying, C tier, a solid healer. Does take a higher skill cap to play because you can't be missing right clicks because you don't have Yuri presence on Ying, right? If you miss, you miss. Yeah, she's C. She's a solid healer. That's really it. Xin, hi-rez. Okay, so they nerfed Billow apparently when I was gone, and he literally just fucking moves like a snail. Does nothing. Like, he doesn't go anywhere. I don't know why they nerfed Billow like that much. Like, oh God, he feels awful. Gonna put him at D tier. Xin feels terrible. Vora, one of the flankers that actually does excel because of her sustain. She's a flanker that sustains instead of does damage. Oh my God, what a surprise. She's in the meta. Yeah, she sustains, okay? She's in B. She does high healing for herself, and she just stays alive, and that's what you need right now in a sustain meta. Simple as that. Yagaroth. Okay, so Yag, when I first came back to the game, I hated Yag. And I'm like, why is this champion in the game? I hate it. I hate her. I hate her. But slowly I start to realize that she has counters, and you do have to look to counter her. And you have to draft around knowing Yag and Rom are in the game, and you have to make sure those are being countered. That's why things like Tyra are showing up for Burn Monster. Yag is B tier. She's nothing insane. But if the enemy team doesn't have counters, Yag is just free, and she 4-0s a game herself. Octavia, who knows why there's 2 pictures, okay? Who knows? Weak at E. And really not much to say. She does not feel strong after the nerfs. Sorry, she just doesn't feel good. Simple as that. Batu, I think the new champion is balanced. I don't think people really know how to play him yet fully and efficiently. He's not in ranked. It's really hard to get a full gauge on him without being in ranked. So we're going to put him at balanced. He doesn't feel underwhelming. That's what's important. He feels solid. And if new champions with high skill caps like Batu feel solid at release, that means they're going to go up to B to A, possibly to S once players start to figure out how to play him and he gets into ranked. So right now he is C, but has the potential to go up and up and up as time goes on. That's it. That's all the champions. Let's take a quick review over this, and let me look through this for a second, talk about some things. I remember there's a few on here that I want to look at. One is Drogos. I was just looking at him as I put Batu up. I think he's E tier. I don't think he's worth playing. I think you'd rather just pick Dredge in most cases. The only time you play Drogos is a map like Stone Keep, and they don't have any hit scan. You can sit way up in the air with worm jets, and still you feel like a snail. And most of the times there's a Cassie, there's a Leanne, there's a Tyra, there's a Khan, there's something in the game to counter it. Most of the times you're not going to be free. Sorry, Drogos. But besides that, I think this tier list is solid. I'm very happy with this. I wanted to get this out sooner, guys, but you really have to understand that I'm one of those people who does not want to release something just because I want views. Since I came back to the game recently, last 2 months, I've wanted to get a really good understanding of ranked and play a lot of games. So it took me some time. It took me some really long time to play these games and see these characters be played to really figure this out. And again, I did not want to release a terrible tier list to you guys. I really wanted to put thought and effort in this. But this is the tier list. That's me scrolling down, hitting spacebar. And this is it. I don't think anything really needs to be changed. I'm happy where everybody is here. There's nothing really here that needs to be changed. There's nothing. So this is it. Woo! Vex's tier list is out now. I hope you enjoy it. This is the end. I hope you enjoy this tier list. Be sure to leave your comments and feedback down below. I'll read them. I won't read them. Who knows? Thank you all for being here, and I hope you enjoy your day, night, evening, morning, dawn, dusk, whatever it is where you live, and I will see you in the next one. Later.